A lot of people think respect is something you earn, prove, or demand, but respect is not earned. Respect is recognized. As a former MMA fighter, I get respect everywhere I go, but I don't get respect for being a fighter because there's a lot of fighters people don't respect, let's be honest. I get respect because my presence is what's recognized, and that's what gets respect from other people. So be sure to stick out towards the end of the video because that's when I'll be sharing how you can tap into your own presence so that when you come across other people, you'll get the respect that you deserve. Now, depending on how you've heard people talk about energy, you may feel like it's nonsense. You may feel like it's bullshit, it's woo-woo, but notice every time you've met somebody, you've been able to feel them before they even spoke. You can feel if somebody means well or if they don't. You can feel if somebody's being truthful and honest with you and if they're not. How many times have you been in a conversation where somebody's saying all these things and in the back of your mind, you're like, bullshit. So that lets you know that respect is more of a feeling out process. That's why you can't prove it, you can't demand it, and you can't earn it. It has to be felt from you. Respect has to be something that you embody. There's a presence within you where your words and your actions are in alignment. And there's a deeper layer to it that we're going to get to. But notice the people that you don't respect, right? The people that are constantly blaming everything else, the situation, the job, the boss, it's my circumstance, is always everything else but themselves. And the thing that gets you to lose respect about that is you can feel that's not true. Their words and their actions don't match. You can see all the ways that they're the core reason of it. And that's the thing that they're avoiding by blaming everything and everyone. And that's the thing to pay attention to, is to notice how you feel when you're losing respect for somebody, because that's the misalignment that's happening. That's where you can feel that they're not willing to face themselves. Because, yeah, all those circumstances are true, but the common theme in every area of our lives is us. So even when something unfair is happening, why are we showing up to that? Why are we the consistent factor in something that we're complaining about? There's something we're not willing to face. And we're all, guilty of having those moments and those situations, but depending on how you face it, if you choose to face it, is where you can see that you have the self-respect to make something different and change yourself in that area, or you can avoid it and start to lose that sense of self-respect within yourself and for yourself. And that's the thing that people can feel from you without you having to say a word. People can feel if your words and your actions match. Because if you think about the people that you respect, especially the people that you admire, the people you look up to, you aspire to the way that their words and their actions match. You see a reflection within yourself, within those people, and you want to show up more in that way because you know you're capable of doing so. Even the people that you know in real life, you can feel the people that you love being around, the people that you respect. You feel like you know them like the back of your hand because even though you don't agree with their opinion, their perspective, or things that they like uniquely for themselves, the fact that their actions and their words match and they have that self-respect for it to match, that's what gets you to feel you know that person. And when you feel you know something and you know somebody, you feel safer to relax. Because if somebody's words and actions don't match, there's a level of uncertainty there. You can feel, okay, if they don't respect themselves enough to follow through on their words, that means I can't trust them with me. They don't respect themselves. They don't really trust themselves. So why would I feel like I'm safe from this chaos that's kind of happening? And all of this is happening without words. This is all a feeling out process because there's a feeling that happens within your body when you're in the presence of somebody that's blaming. It's like a video game to where as the person is blaming and complaining, it's like -5, -10. And there's a big difference between talking about what you're navigating versus complaining and blaming. Complaining and blaming, you can feel the person is making it seem like their life is how it is because of the circumstance, work, or whatever's happening. And they want it to be different. It would be different if it wasn't for that. And so much like draining energy is going into that direction versus being able to air out what you're going through just to get it into perspective so you know how to approach it. And in talking about it in the way of getting a different perspective, you can feel there's an energy of trying to find a solution. And there's also the energy of how can I show up differently with this? How I can feel I'm exhausted. I can feel this is happening. I can feel I'm responding in this way. But what can I do different? And those two different approaches, you can feel this one that's more introspective, reflecting on what's happening, but more introspective of what can I change within myself so then things can be different. That you respect a lot more versus I want to stay the same. I don't want to change. All this needs to change so that my life could be better. You can feel, even in hearing that misalignment, you can feel like, I kind of don't respect that. Just hearing that is draining. Now, the next layer of why respect is recognized is trust. Because with those two examples of the one that's willing to face themselves and the one that's willing to blame, you can feel that the one that's willing to face themselves, you're willing to trust. You feel more safe trusting that person than the one that blames because you feel that the person that's willing to face themselves won't abandon you. Because this is somebody that you're taking into your life, whether it's a friend, acquaintance. There's different tiers as to like how close you're letting them get to you in your life. But regardless of even if they're just an acquaintance, there's still a level of trust. And you want to be able to relax in knowing that I can trust this person. And if you can't trust that person, it's because you don't respect them. So, what allows the trust to be there is to know that because this person will abandon themselves when things get hard, I can relax in knowing they're not going to abandon me versus somebody that's blaming and you feel that they're constantly abandoning themselves when things get hard. You don't really feel safe trusting that person because you can see that they don't really have this relationship to trust themselves. If they abandon themselves, why wouldn't they abandon me? And that's now the next layer of why respect is recognized is the person that's willing to face themselves. It takes a level of strength to really see yourself, to understand what needs to change, to understand that you need to change. It's so much easier to point out all the factors, right? The person that's blaming and say that all these things need to be different and it's not my fault. I'm trying really hard. And you can see, like, are you though? Because you're not willing to change. So, how hard are you really trying? You're not even willing to see that you can be showing up different versus the person that looks at themselves first. They're able to really pay attention as to how they're showing up in all areas of their life, which will include you. And that's what allows you to really respect somebody that takes ownership, which I'm sure is one of the qualities of the people that you admire is how much ownership they take in their life. And it's not an easy thing to do that. It's not easy to take ownership all the time. It's so much easier to just say it's somebody else's fault. It's so much easier to, even when you feel like nothing has gone wrong, to not want to change something about yourself. And that's what's different with the people that you respect because they make those hard choices. They make those tough decisions. Even when they're in the right, they're looking at the situation to think about, okay, what have I done to still end up in this situation? Even though I've been wronged, why was I a part of this? And from personal experiences, I could tell you it's not easy to take full ownership, especially in the moments where you feel like you've done nothing wrong. Like in past relationships, I've had friends and people reassure me and tell me, like, hey, like the way this person's showing up, I can understand why it happened the way it did. But I still had to look at, I was still a part of the experience. It wasn't like, this person just randomly approached me. No, it was a relationship I was in. I showed up there. I chose to be there. I chose to stay for however long the relationship lasted. Why did that make sense to do? Now, hindsight's 2020, yes, but as I look back and see how it wasn't a match to how I show up in life, why why was I drawn to that? Why did it make sense to bring somebody that towards the end I say I lost respect for, but I brought them to the closest part of me to, out of all the relationships from acquaintances to friends, I brought them to the closest core. And I got to see those were the parts of me that needed to change. And it takes a raw honesty to just not bullshit yourself and be willing to look in the ways that you're showing up. And there are the ways that match that person. It may not match exactly, but maybe the thoughts, the feelings, the energy behind it does match, or else that dynamic wouldn't happen. And it's uncomfortable. It's a really uncomfortable process, but it's a process that gets you to strengthen this bond with yourself, and that's what people feel. Making the choice to strengthen the bond with yourself is what people feel when they meet you. That's the respect that gets recognized. So when I enter the room, yeah, they may see my ears. They may, find out I was a fighter, see my face, my demeanor, or even when I mention it, it adds to the respect that's there. But best believe the respect was already there to begin with. And I'm not asking for it. I'm not demanding it. I'm not trying to earn it or prove it. I just stand in the respect that I have for myself, that I built with myself in the moments where I felt I lost it. Because those moments where you have to face yourself, they're really tough. They are. But they strengthen the bond to almost like, I like Marvel, so it's like adamantium or vibranium or both. Yeah. So that's the thing I would say. If you really want to get the respect you deserve, and we all deserve respect, it's focusing on any areas that feel very uncomfortable, that you would like to act like it's not there, or you try to get away from, and slow down and face head on. This is the thing that I really hone in and focus to master with myself, and I help my clients focus and master with themselves. Because the habits that run our lives, if you slow down and pay attention, it's always the part of you that you're afraid to look at. It's always the part of you that you try to hide from the world. It's the parts of you that you're not proud of, that you want to be different and wish just wouldn't be different by now. But when you slow down in the moments that you really just want to get away and you want to move faster, you want to run faster, I'd rather just, even if it's healthy, I'd rather just go to the gym. I'd rather just train and work out. I'd rather just work. No, slow down, face your fear, and face yourself. And you can feel as I'm saying this now that I mean it because I've done it and I've helped people through it. And it feels like hell at times. So if you feel it's so uncomfortable that you feel you can't do that on your own, then there's a booking link in the description. Click on it. We'll have a one-on-one call, and I'll be able to guide you through that process so you don't have to do it alone. Because it's like riding a bike. it's necessary to have the training wheels at first so you have an idea as to what's the balance you're feeling for, right? Because if I try to explain how to ride a bike to you and how to hold your balance, it's not going to click the same. You could watch as many YouTube videos as you want about it, but it's not going to click the same without the training wheels. When you do the training wheels, there's a feeling to it of, oh, okay, I hold the wheel straight. Conceptually, I know to hold the wheel straight, but it's not till you're on the bike that you're like, oh, ah. And then it's like, okay, I have to pedal. It's the same thing. Conceptually, it makes sense. I have to pedal, but then to understand, I have to pedal at a certain speed because if I go too slow, it's going to fall. And it's not till you feel it that you understand that difference. And then you're putting those two together, right? Holding the wheel straight and pedaling. And then there's a subtle balancing that's happening with your body while you're doing all of this. And the training wheels helps you understand how to do that. And once you do it enough, you could take it off and then you could just go ride your bike. And if you fall, cool, you know how to get back up and you know the balance by now. And that's what I help people do. That's what I help leaders do, is finding your balance, helping you lead others. But in order to lead others, you have to lead yourself. And you get to see respect ties into all of that. That's what people feel when they respect you, is that you're able to lead yourself no matter what room you're in. You don't get lost in the crowd. You don't get lost in the distraction of trying to hide parts of yourself. You own who you are because you're very familiar with yourself. And you get to see, once you see respect this way, you're going to notice now that I planted the seed within you, as you meet people, you're going to start to, do I respect this person? I feel like I do. And then the people that you don't respect, you'll highlight right away why you don't. And it's nothing against them. It's just qualities that allow you to feel safe with the person or not. And as a leader, it's demand is pretty a strong word, but it kind of comes with the territory where people have to trust you. That's integrity. Are you willing to do well with the trust that people are presenting or giving to you? People are giving you their trust by being on your team, trusting you as their leader. It's what do you do with that? And the way that you trust yourself will allow them to trust you even more. And that's what people talk about, influence and all of that. But ultimately, it boils down to conviction, right? Your self-belief and your values. Really getting to know yourself. When you know yourself, people respect you because they don't have to worry about your words and your actions not being in alignment. They don't have to worry about you abandoning them because you abandon yourself. They're able to relax in knowing you because you took the time to know you. Oh, so I got a fun exercise. So put in the comments, who do you respect and why? Because just off of that, you're kind of giving yourself an outline as to the area you would like to respect within yourself. So fun little game. I'm actually going to end with this one. Who do you respect and why? So be sure to like, share, subscribe. I'm wishing you an amazing day. If it's nighttime by you, I'm wishing you an amazing night, and I will catch you later.